So hi, welcome to Rise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with
Hi, Alexandra from Echoes.
Eric with some questions about the upcoming album, Quiet in Your Service. Congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Thank you. I'm so excited. I am so ready for this body of work to finally be out in the world.
Mhm.
Hell yeah. The album is super cool. I was really digging it.
Damn
Thank
right. Yeah,
you. Oh, thank you. That makes me so happy. That means a lot.
Hell yeah.
of course. And is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah, so the album in itself is about ending my pattern of being a people pleaser and being in a toxic relationship, and quiet in your service is kind of a sentiment to that, like staying quiet and small in service of other people and service of a toxic relationship, whatever you could apply that meaning for in your life as well.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the album?
Yeah, for this album, I sat in on my friend's band writing session to write for them, and we started demoing together, and we realized like, oh, we should keep doing this every week, and we started writing a whole batch of songs together, and realized we had an album, and it was so much fun. I would just go over there, and all of these thoughts and ideas would just pour out of me. Like all of the lyrics were, a lot of them kind of started off as like a freestyle. We would just be jamming together, and then Quiet in Your Service in itself actually was a freestyle too. It just kind of poured out. And that was one of the first songs that we wrote for this record. And I started building around that. And as soon as we came up with that song, I was like, this is the album title. Like, I feel like that
Mhm.
just kind of summarizes what I was feeling and going through at the time. And then we kind of built around that.
Gotcha. So this was all
Yeah.
birthed out of you writing with other people for their project, and just it was like you guys clicked so well that you just kept going.
Yeah, I was friends with them already, and it was kind of that dance of like, you're in a band, we should work together and like see what comes out of it.
Mhm.
And so initially, yeah, I went over there to write and do like a feature vocal for them, and we just had so much fun. We were like,
Mhm.
what if we calendar this every Tuesday? So for like, oh gosh, over the last 2 years, every Tuesday we would just kind of write, and this batch of songs were our favorite, and it came together. It really was not planned, and that's what I
Mhm.
love about it, is it just came together as time went on, and we had so much fun. Like there was no, I don't know, it wasn't the same way as I've gone in the past of making albums. It was just like free flowing and fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Damn
And
right.
Yeah.
was it like previous records were just you? Like what about this one was different outside of like, obviously, having such a great connection? Was it the co-writing?
Yeah, definitely. I had done co-writing before, and previously I was in a duo, and we did a lot more like cinematic electronic music, which was still
Mhm.
very fun, but we would go into it with like, we're writing an album. Like
Mhm.
it was very much, we're writing an album. This is kind of what it's going to be about, versus this was more of like, we obviously, as we, put the record together, we went into the studio with like, okay, this is going to be the album, and there was all of that. But I think the creation process was very much like, it just, what, I don't know how to fully explain it. It was just like writing whatever without thinking. Like there wasn't a
Mhm.
lot of that. It was just like, let's see what comes out of it. And then I would listen back through all of our demos and be like, oh yeah, we have an album here, which
Mhm.
still a bit similar to what I did in the past, but this was the first time I was writing with a full band.
Mhm.
So it would
Mhm.
be more of these like full jam sessions and just kind of like freestyling and then being like, we have a song. So it was really fun.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So it was like the pressure
Wonderful.
of no album, just writing and seeing what happens.
Yeah, I feel like, and then with that, we were like, oh, hey, we have an album.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah,
hmm
it
Yeah.
discovered it, like you find it shows itself versus forcing it.
Mhm.
Yeah, which was really fun. And like I said about the album title, like that was just a random day where I said, I like, the line was quiet on the surface, but the more
Mhm.
I listened to it, sometimes when I like freestyle a lyric, like it'll be like mumble, and then the word will kind of fill itself in as time goes on.
Mhm.
And I like, by like the fifth time of listening through that, I heard quiet in your service and was like, oh, that's what I'm trying to say. It was like my
Yeah.
subconscious was coming to the surface. So
Yeah.
Gotcha.
yeah.
Fuck yeah. Wonderful. And what song off the album took longest to write, and then which one is your personal favorite?
Ooh, those are good questions. Carousel was the hardest one to write. Oh my
Mhm.
God, I'm so grateful for my my co-writers and producer. Like I wanted to change that so many times. I
Mhm.
could not get the chorus right. I was just like, there's something wrong with it. I don't know what is going on. So we rewrote that chorus like a million times,
Yeah.
and ended up with what it is now. And my favorite song, I feel like it's hard to choose. It's like picking a favorite child or something. I
Mm-hmm.
love them all for different reasons, but I feel like Tolerance, the album outro, is a favorite for me because it was such a spiritual experience to write that song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we
Wonderful.
touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. I feel like that was I'm vague. Yeah, when I wrote that, I started writing it with my friend and co-writer Charlie, and then I took the song home because I just was like, I have a couple ideas and I want to just like sit with it. And I had left my equipment at the studio. I have a ton of bags. I'm like the person that has like 5 bags and then I
Oh,
like
Mm-hmm.
leave it everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I left all my stuff and my computer was about to die, but I had this idea like beamed to me. So I
Mm-hmm.
literally recorded the vocals into my laptop microphone and was just like, this is what it's going to be. I
Mm-hmm.
tried re-recording them so many times and I'm like, I can't recreate whatever it is I captured in that moment. And it just felt like this, I don't know, this otherworldly idea was just beamed down to me. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was really, really spiritual. And then my computer died right after I finished it. So I was like,
Damn.
okay, it is done.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
etched in stone.
yeah,
Captured it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And sometimes it's like, I know a lot of people say it's not about the equipment, it's about the moment or the
Mm-hmm.
emotion or the mood. And that song is really a testament to that. And I did go back in and record harmonies
Mm-hmm.
separate, but all of the lead vocals are still like you can even kind of hear the like white noise of my fan in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't change it. It was too perfect. So
Yeah.
that's why I
absolutely.
love it.
I
Hell
love
yeah.
it.
So how'd the track list for your album come about? Did you guys write the opener to be the opener, close to be a closer, shuffling and see what fits? What was that process like?
It was definitely shuffling things around and seeing what fits. I
Mm-hmm.
did know for a fact that Carousel would be like song 2. And when we wrote Mariposa, the intro, we wrote it with it being the intro in mind for Carousel. And the rest of the songs I just kind of shuffled around until it felt right, or until I felt like I would listen to one and then be expecting the next one to come. And if it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
that one, I'm like, okay, I got to put it back. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of just shuffling things around a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Especially Tolerance, that feels like an album closer. Like if you put that in the middle of the record, you're fucking up the flow.
For sure.
Yeah, I try. There was a point where I was like, maybe that's in the middle, but then that's when Awful Thing came about for the
Mm-hmm.
interlude. And the idea there is, since this album is about healing through a toxic relationship, the theme in a toxic relationship, whatever it is that is creating pain, comes up multiple times. And I thought the idea of having Awful Thing be like a metaphor of the same issue continuing to come up, like I
Mm-hmm.
touch on the lyric Awful Thing in the intro and then making it the interlude kind of felt like a metaphor of what it feels like to be in a toxic relationship. So there
Mm-hmm.
were like moments of being like, okay, I know that there needs to be something here so I can like continue to hammer in the story. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. And would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
Yeah, definitely in a pretty weird headspace.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of emotions came up while recording it, but I felt so safe to just express and
Mm-hmm.
safe to just truly use my voice and say things that I maybe would have been afraid to say in my art in the past. And
Mm-hmm.
it was really special. Every session that I had, every recording session, every writing session, I left feeling like I left my soul, in
Yeah.
those moments. So it was really healing for me. And I also just felt very seen by all of my collaborators and very supported and very like, it was a very, very fun experience for me.
Wonderful. That's so
And
good to hear.
healing. Yeah,
Yeah.
very healing.
Hell yeah.
Damn
Love
right.
it. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? If you're doing the car with friends and talk with headphones on, is work at album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
Oh, this is like the best question ever because I never shut up about how I always say like Echoes is like yearn core. Like you
Yeah.
just
Yearn,
yearn to
hell
it.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm like all I want, like I understand singles and release plans, but I'm so about listening to an album from start to finish, like while lying on the floor. That's usually what I do on album release day is I'm like, all right, I'm gonna lie here and think
Yeah.
and just yearn. So I think that would be like the best way is to just lie on the floor and stare at the ceiling and listen to it. But also, if you have the opportunity to go for a drive while
Mm-hmm.
it's raining, I think that's the other best vibe.
Hell yeah.
Solid.
A cold drive.
Cold
it.
yearning drive.
Yeah.
A cold yearning drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
there is something so therapeutic about laying on the floor. Like there's laying on the bed, laying on the couch. It don't hit the same as laying on the floor.
Nope.
No. Yeah, the day that both of my previous albums all came out, that's what I do. Like I have to be alone on the floor and I listen from
Exactly.
start to finish. I totally do that thing where it's like, all right, I got to perceive this as if I'm all of the listeners. How are they perceiving it?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
usually what I do.
Gotcha.
Fuck yeah.
Try to wipe the fact that you've spent the past 2 years with the record and just hone in on it.
Yeah, I'm like, how would I listen if I was a first time listener? And it's that it's definitely an interesting experience. And I'm gonna try to not I try to not listen to it for like a couple days or before it comes out, so then I can have like a new experience with it. I don't know.
Yeah. Damn right. Good. So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Oh, that's okay. Wow, I feel ill prepared. Definitely cold, healing, and ethereal.
Ooh, damn right. Yep.
Those are good. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
And then in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
I definitely want people to feel seen. Like I always say that I create music so I have a place to leave my pain. And I feel like I can feel seen in that with my poetry. And I want people to feel that way too and know they're not alone. Because I know I'm very aware that I'm singing about very dark subjects. And I think that is it can be very hard as the person singing it as well. And it's like just knowing that other people are experiencing those things, it just makes you feel less alone. So that's why I feel like it's important to sing about things that are kind of hard to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Damn right. All right. And are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of the album, positive or negative?
I feel like even though these songs were very emotionally driven and very, very dark material, it was just trying to make sure we were having fun and making it a positive experience. A lot of people ask me like how can I sing something like that and then be okay after? But it's like because I have a place to put it, like afterwards we would just make it really fun. And I think that was the most important part.
Absolutely.
100%,
I agree. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Oh, wow. I feel like my snack of choice would be, why is this so hard to answer? I love snacks. I don't know what I normally go for. I usually want coffee. So like anything with coffee, and then I love like breakfast sandwiches. So like if there's a breakfast sandwich available, or like a smoothie. I don't know. Those are my favorite things. Yeah.
Solid as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if your project was a dish, what dish would it be and why?
Oh wow, I've never been asked that before. I think my I think my project would be ramen because ramen is very like I don't know, like you feel cleansed after you eat it. Like warm, it's like a warm
Feels
hug.
healthy.
Yeah, although I don't know if that like because I said that the album feels cold, but it's like okay, if you're gonna listen to the album and feel cold, then you're gonna want ramen. So maybe that is my line of thinking.
See, there you
that
go.
warming
It's all making
feeling.
sense.
Yeah, it's like I'm obsessed with soup. So like hopefully people associate like echoes with soup and coffee.
Yeah.
All right.
Warm beverages and warm food.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
And for the last couple of questions, I'm going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh, definitely ramen. It would be like I like veggie broth in my ramen, but then I still like chicken and then the egg that comes in it, it would be that for sure. And then for a drink, probably a Thai iced tea with coconut milk. I'm a simple girl.
Nice.
That is incredible. I fucking love Thai iced tea with coconut milk. That shit.
Same.
Yeah.
I want that so bad now. I'm drinking vanilla chai with oat milk. I guess that's kind of similar, but not. It doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't hit. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great on its own, but damn, if you put it next to a fucking Thai iced, I
know. Thai that and a Thai iced coffee. Say no more. Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. Goes fucking crazy. Oh my god.
Good. I want that now.
Me too. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Twilight, but I feel like I live half the time in Washington and I grew up there and like I
Hmm.
live pretty close to all the Twilight locations, so I'm such
That's
a
so dope.
Twilight nerd. So
Yeah.
I feel like being there is that, but like if I could live in that world, for sure
Hmm.
Twilight.
Yeah.
All
Are
right.
you like what, team Edward or Jacob?
I feel like as I've gotten older, they all seem toxic, but
For
I
sure.
still I still am like about it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. All
Maybe I
right. Yeah,
can't pick
that's
it.
fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
And I've thought of asking the last question. Every single person I've spoken to have said that is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Black. Without hesitation.
So if I was like that one annoying person who said that I
Mhm.
don't consider black a color, what would the follow-up color be?
I have a green, dark green, like navy, or not navy, that'd be blue. Like a
Like a
this
forest?
like a forest green, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Dark
yeah.
forest green, and then runner up would be like a deep red.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so as I said, that's all the questions I have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Yes. I have my Quiet in Your Service vinyls available for pre-order right now. They're attached to all of my socials. I'm super excited about that. And then I am doing an album release show in Los Angeles on January 15th at Resident downtown LA. We're going to be doing an intimate acoustic performance and having a lot of vendors, and it will be very fun. So I hope to see everyone there.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you, Sal. It's been Echoes, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.